let's talk about these shifts. According to the Harvard Business Review, for the first time ever, there are 5 generations of employees in the workforce. Now, think about that impact. Think about what that means when you are interacting. And we should say, not just in the workforce. We're talking about also in our community organizations, our places of worship, anywhere you have a group of people, even here in our ITD world, right? You have multi-generations interacting with each other. What's the impact? Well, leading and performing are defined very differently. For example, the need to know why a specific request is being made at work. In the old days, if a senior leader asked you to do something, you just did it. Today, with the different generations, they don't automatically just do it because you're the boss. They want to know why. They want the rationale behind it. Now I'm going to look over to the screen here and I want to know, am I right? Or is that just me? Is that just my experience? I see Peter smiling. Greg's giving me a thumbs up. So you've experienced that, right? It's not just because you said it. Yeah. So Sarah Lee, she's shaking her head as well. And Flores is telling me in the chat that this is very true. So thank you. So that's what we see happening, folks. So just the idea that someone is older, wiser, or in a position of authority doesn't mean that people are automatically going to listen to them. Also, we understand that leadership models have changed. In yesteryear, there was a pecking order of sorts, right? Leadership from the top down. You had earned your stripes, as it were. And therefore, because of your time in the organization, your time in the field, your time in the business, you had a right to expect to be at a certain level, and everyone else had to listen to you because of positional authority. Well, there are new leadership models that have come about. In the chat, please share with me leadership models that you operate based on. Dr. Chi says the leadership challenge is what he uses. Holacracy, says Greg. Freedom to choose, says KC. Situational leadership, says Sarah Lee. Frank says authentic leadership. Situational leadership, says Farah. Coaching leadership, GWR, and leader as coach. Excellent. So these are all very good models of leadership that were not always around. So these new frameworks that people are learning affect the expectation that employees have when they enter into these organizational settings. So for example, Dr. Ronald Heifetz from Harvard's Kennedy School is the father of adaptive leadership. Keith Ferrazzi, Robin Sharma, these folks have popularized the concept of leading without authority, leadership without titles. And so the newer generations are coming along saying, hey, listen, I can be a leader. I don't have to wait until I have authority. I can exercise authority now. And in some cases, that's a really good thing. But in other cases, we see sometimes there's a struggle with generational attitudes and cultural norms when it comes to that, right? So as leadership models have changed across the generations in time, so have the expectations of people changed. I think the other thing that we've seen happen is that when it comes to performance, there was a time that you were judged based on your face time in the office. How early were you there? Were you the first one there? Were you the last one to leave? Now FaceTime is just a cool app on mobile phones, right? People are saying, no, don't judge me by my time in the office. Judge me on my productivity. Judge me on my output. It's a different shift, right? And certainly because of the pandemic, it's accelerated this desire to not even be in the office, right? We work remotely, and now there's this new concept of lifestyle working. So I'm going to work from any country that I want to, any city that I want to, and not even be in the main city, but still be able to be productive. So that's affected people's attitudes. The definition of coaching itself has changed. There was no ICF or IT World, right? So coaching definitions have changed over the years. Most people's first interaction with the word coach was stagecoach, right? The idea of moving people from one place to another with a horse and a coach. Later on, it became maybe in the world of sports. Now, of course, we've matured in the definition of coaching and certainly along with its application. Finally, we would say that generations are not just about age. So as we have this discussion, we have to keep in mind it also is about the values, as I've alluded to, and a mindset. So each generation has held certain things near and dear and established a code of living for everyone else. And then we see the next generation change and adopt new values and say, well, I don't want to live by these anymore. As you have that progression, you have these shifts.